Hey everybody, my name is Nitrix, and this is my new series, Background Rambles. So sit back, relax, and enjoy as we chat about the updates that the Hypixel team has pushed and upcoming updates from the future, as well as gameplay discussion. Thanks for watching. Hey everybody, so today I wanted to take a chance to talk about some much needed quality of life changes in SkyBlock. So I think the biggest thing to highlight first is that the SkyBlock team is aware of the fact that people want more quality of life changes, right? They're aware that there are serious needs for adjustments. And I just wanted to highlight a couple of the big ones that the community has been asking for today. I put out a forums post asking people what their biggest needed QOL change was, just to see what people thought was truly the most pressing quality of life need in all of the game. And I got some honestly fantastic answers. I think the best one that I received was from Me W on the forums, who said, "Foraging update would greatly improve my quality of life." I actually could not agree with that more. Not only is it not, necessarily a joke, because there would actually be an enormous quality of life improvement from having the foraging update, in the fact that foraging wouldn't be the worst skill in the game by a huge margin. However, it is also a hilarious meme. I mean, come on. I don't want to become the foraging update guy, but I mean, I could talk for hours and hours and hours about various different things about what I want to see from the foraging update, what I think we deserve from the foraging update, all that fun stuff. But I agree. I mean, there will probably be significant quality of life that will come with the foraging update in the form of unlocks, right? But then the hope is, as they release these large updates and the game gets more popular, people are going to expect more polish. And so, the foraging update making foraging actually playable content will be a genuine quality of life upgrade for a lot of people. So I think that that's a fantastic, thing to highlight. Even if it was meant as a joke, it is still true in a sense, in the fact that, I mean, it's what the people want. Like, how long have people been asking for, the foraging update? How long has it been promised? How much is it supposed to change the game? All that fun stuff. It's serious shit. So yeah, I'm a big fan of that suggestion. Next one was a bigger my filter and ignore list. I'm actually not sure if this is a Minecraft constraint or if this is a Hypixel constraint. But I mean, I completely agree, right? Like, you shouldn't be limited in how many people you're allowed to block, because if there are, 100 people or 1,000 people or 10,000 people who are treating you like shit, you should be able to block every single one of them. There shouldn't be a gameplay constraint around having to deal with toxic or shitty behavior simply because they can't figure out how to make something better, right? That's not an acceptable reasoning. So yeah, I mean, if it is a Minecraft constraint, then again, I would be surprised. I mean, Minecraft understands that this is a game that is mostly geared, or at least used to be mostly geared, towards children. And so I feel like they have a good grasp on the fact that you need to be able to block people in mass sometimes. I mean, maybe some guy's got 10 shitty friends, and his 10 shitty friends have 10 shitty friends, right? It'll just keep proliferating. So yeah, you need to be able to just nip that in the bud, which I completely agree with. The next suggestion actually comes from, I don't know how to say his name right, Namla-E, one of the best forum veterans. I always enjoy reading their posts. Back when I was a lurker, I would read their posts consistently. They have great suggestions, great QOL. So shout out. I don't know if you're listening to this video, but if you are, I appreciate all of the suggestions and the feedback and the good discussion that you have on the forums. You do a really good job. But yeah, so they had mentioned that they need to fix Stranded's builder NPC, right? And so to give a little bit of background on what exactly that means, Stranded is a game mode in which you can summon NPCs, and after you've unlocked all of the collections in the game, excluding the ones that are exempt, you are able to summon the builder, who is an extremely important part of late game Stranded gameplay. One slight problem is when I mentioned that you have to have completed all of the collections, there are exemptions, like I said. Those are things that simply cannot be gained in the Stranded game mode. Well, that's all well and good, and it's nice that there are adjustments made so that the game is actually playable in that regard, but it falls off in one way, which is that they keep forgetting to add things to the exemption list. Yep. Stranded players go months and months without being able to summon the builder, despite having fulfilled all of the requirements that they can possibly fulfill, and only being blocked by the fact that a Hypixel admin forgot to change a 0 to a fucking 1. And that's pretty frustrating. I can understand why, as a player, that would turn me off from a game mode entirely. I had intentions to try out Stranded. I don't know if I do anymore until there is at least some form of update to not just that, but it just sounds like Stranded needs a lot. But yeah, I mean, I mentioned in a previous video that they could make Stranded more, and, you know, whatever new game modes they come out with, right? Hardcore Iron Man and shit. They could make all of those more popular by just integrating them into Bingo. I would be much more likely to play Stranded if I got to have a little, you know, nice accelerated Bingo pet use taste of what Stranded is like, right? That's the thing that got me to play Iron Man, was playing Bingo and being like, oh, you know what, actually, this is pretty fun. And granted, my Iron Man sucks. It's super early game. But I do have intention to play it, and I do enjoy playing it when I get that itch to play Bingo and it's not around, you know? So in that regard, it pushed me to play Iron Man, and I think it would do the same for other game modes. So I think that should be a high priority for Hypixel admins. I mean, it's really not a difficult change either. You know, as a developer myself, I can tell you they really need to make some small, well, they would be obnoxious adjustments because they'll probably have to update a class. But that being said, considering this is a game written in Java and it's almost entirely object-oriented, it shouldn't be that difficult to update a class without ruining a ton of things. However, that being said, I have no idea what level of spaghetti Hypixel is dealing with and what level of constraints they deal with by only being able to use Minecraft as a platform. But that being said, I mean, that's a bit of an unacceptable bug to have existing. And that is not, you know, QOL, that is a bug. But regardless, fixing bugs is QOL. So I think that that's an important one that they need to fix, because regardless of the number of players that are interested in Stranded or playing it, it doesn't mean that their game mode is any less valid or deserves any less literal fixing than the main game. So yeah, great suggestion there. Thank you very much, Namli. I appreciate it. That was a great suggestion. You referred to it as long-winded, but honestly, I think that you gave a ton of great information super succinctly, so thank you for that. I think one of the other things that was highlighted was someone said, I just want to do /recipe golden carrot, not click an NPC to fill my 20k sacks. I completely agree with that. It is outlandish that, for example, I can't just mass buy into my sacks for certain unlimited ingredients from various different places, right? A great example of that is golden carrots, right? Especially Iron Men need to create a ton of enchanted golden carrots for gardening and for various other different things, like, you know, pet items and such. And so knowing that, there should be a way to gather those resources that you need in mass that are not even, you know, on main accounts aren't bizarreable, but other than that, you know, aren't able to be bought from anywhere other than the alchemist. Those things really, really need to be able to be bought and sent directly to the sack. I'm sure that would be at least somewhat difficult to program, but again, you know, this is a game, this is a service. It's not unreasonable to expect that kind of refinement and that level of polish from the game that you're playing, and, you know, frankly, for many of us, spending money on. So yeah, basically, huge QOL moves there, being able to purchase from NPCs and have that go directly to sacks. But I think that there is one sack-related quality of life item that would be one of the ultimate quality of life updates for me. I mean, seriously, like, would change the game, change the amount of money that I make, change the amount of money that I get. And that would be being able to create sell offers from sacks. Okay, I shouldn't have to be limited by the size of my inventory for how much I can, you know, sell from my sack, right? I should be able to create a sell offer directly from whatever sacks I have right into the bazaar without having to worry about using my inventory as a middleman. Now, this may, again, be a constraint that gets updated when the version is changed, but it's still a valid criticism and valid request from, you know, the player base. Is I shouldn't have to use my inventory, my relatively small inventory, for a matter of fact, to be the middleman between my sacks and the bazaar. That's just not, it doesn't make any sense. So yeah, that's something that they really need to put some effort into. The big QOL changes surrounding sacks, instant fill sacks from NPCs, insta sell sacks to the bazaar, all sorts of things like that. Hell, even insta sell sacks to NPC could be useful, but I could see that being more annoying than useful, to be completely honest. So yeah, I think that those are all pretty impressive QOL changes, and I think that they would make a lot of difference for players. And then honestly, entertainingly enough, one of the QOL changes that I wanted to suggest the most was changes to the Crystal Hollows. Doing Nucleus runs fucking sucks. It's bad enough that you have to kill ball every time now, but the parkour course is so long. There's just so much nonsense that you have to do, or dillo cheesing, but they actually updated that in the most recent alpha. They made the Mines of Devon easier to navigate, as well as the Precursor Ruins. They updated the... I don't know if they made any updates to the Goblin area, but they updated the parkour course to be smaller, which I think is probably the biggest part of that. That usually, assuming you're not dillo cheesing, that's definitely the slowest part. That or Mines of Devon every time is what slows you down the most when you're doing Nucleus runs. So changes to those and the size of those, the navigability of those. Navigatability? I don't know. The changes that have been made to those are pretty significant, and so that will be really nice. Dillo cheesing being patched does kind of suck, because that was a big part of speedrunning Nucleus runs, but again, patching unintended behavior isn't necessarily something that I should be criticizing, considering the fact that, we're talking about Hypixel and it can be a struggle just to get them to make basic QOL changes. I don't want to be, criticizing the possibly good things that they do. So yeah, I think the Crystal Hollows changes will be pretty significant for a lot of people. It might encourage more people to actually do it. Regardless of how long it is, part of it is the monotony. And so it probably won't get that many new people to be interested in it, again, because it's just boring to do 1,000 Nucleus runs for 1.5 bill or whatever. I mean, it's fantastic money, but again, like, how fun is it? This is a game, right? I'm just kidding. We all know this is a fucking job. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say for QOL stuff today. I think that Hypixel admins focusing on quality of life updates would be a huge boon for a lot of people. But unfortunately, they're already slow enough on content updates. Many people are discontent with the glacial update pace. Haha, get it? Because all they ever do is fucking update the glacial caverns. No, but seriously, like, a lot of people are disappointed with that pace. And for them to backseat that content pace to then make better QOL changes, that's not going to work. So unfortunately, the only solution appears to be to take some of the millions out of the pockets of the people who own the company and go ahead and get them to to hire a couple more developers. Yeah, you can't buy developers, thank God. I mean, if you could buy people at my line of work, that would probably be the worst thing that could possibly happen. Considering the fact that developers already have to sell our souls, yeah, that wouldn't be great. But yeah, so it would be nice if they could expand the team a little bit, have a QOL-focused team and a content-focused team. So yeah, those were all the suggestions that I received from forumers. Thank you very much to everybody who submitted a suggestion. And then I wanted to throw my own hat in the ring and mention something that I would really like to see as a QOL change, that being an equipment wardrobe. The ability to store and quick swap equipment just like we do with armor in a wardrobe. And then also the ability to assign magical powers to wardrobe slots as well would be a huge benefit. One of the things that keeps me from diversifying my gameplay the most is that absolute hassle of having to change all of my powers around, having to change all my stats around, my enrichments, etc. Just less steps to having to do these various things would be a huge benefit for pretty much all Hypixel SkyBlock players, especially endgame players. You have... Excuse me, I'm sorry. You have 5-6 different sets of equipment, at least, that you need to use. Dungeon equipment set, Kudra equipment set, general combat equipment set, fishing set, mining set. There's so much. So it would really be nice to be able to have more quick swapping options. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today. That's all I wanted to cover, just variously talking about QOL. If there's anything in particular that you guys would like to see QOL change-wise, please let me know down below. I know that there's great suggestions that come out of this community and great opinions that people have on, the changes that could be made to improve this game. It's a passionate community. We're a lot of people that really enjoy this game. We play it a lot, and we just want to see it improve for a litany of different reasons. But one of those is, the continued success of Hypixel means the continued enjoyment of me playing this game. And so that's a big deal to me. I want to see it thrive. I want to see it go well, but quality of life is going to be a huge part of that. All right, well, that's pretty much everything that we've got to cover today. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I really hope you enjoyed watching the bingo gameplay in the background as well. Taking a look at these milestones, we're doing pretty well. It's looking like we're going to be top 5%, top 1%, 1%, and then fuck chum. I'm not getting chum. Come on. All right, thanks for watching. See ya.